Corpse Party New Chapter. Have you ever heard of the anime survival horror game Corpse Party, released in 2008? Well, I'm not sure about you, but I had no idea that this game was actually a reboot of an original title created way back in 1996. It was created using the first version of the popular game-making software RPG Maker, known as Dante 98 in Japan. Many elements from this title were used in the creation of the PC reboot from 2008, including many of the characters, although several things were changed. However, a more faithful remake of the original was created for mobile devices, released in chapter installments throughout 2006 and 2007 on Famitsu's free game service, only compatible with specific Japanese devices, hence why this game and its chapters became rare and hard to come by. The title wasn't actually finished either, as only 4 of the 5 chapters were ever released before the project was cancelled in favor of the 2008 reboot titled Corpse Party Blood Covered, which is the most recognizable version today. After it was discontinued from the service, this remake, Corpse Party New Chapter, became another lost media relic, until in August of 2025, a user on the Keitai Wiki Discord server uploaded all 4 chapters of the now defunct game, as well as many other Japanese mobile games from the time thought to have been lost as well. To Tell the Truth Unaired Pilot. And we're talking about To Tell the Truth again. I already sort of went over this American game show in the last part, but basically, it's a show where people have to try and guess which of the 3 contestants is lying about their strange job or occupation. It's a pretty basic but successful game show format, usually with celebrities being the ones doing the guessing during the show, with the program being created by Mark Goodson and Bill Todman, having many hosts over the years during its on and off runs for like 6 decades at this point. One of these reboots would occur in 2000 and run for well over 200 episodes before ending in March of 2002. An unaired pilot for this remake was recorded originally in 1999. It was only confirmed to exist when people present for the taping of the episode began to discuss it online, naming the celebrities that were present. Some images were also found from the set, as well as tickets labeling a recording date of December 12, 1999. People wouldn't have to speculate much longer on the episode though, as on August 29th, 2025, the full pilot episode was uploaded to the Game Show Vault YouTube channel. The Aquabats Aqua Battle. The Aquabats Super Show is a relatively obscure but pretty well received musical action TV series which aired for 2 seasons and 22 episodes from March 2012 to January 2014 on the Hub network before its eventual cancellation, although it did later have a resurgence on YouTube in September of 2019. It was based on the American rock band of the same name, the Aquabats, and follows their day-to-day adventures moonlighting as superheroes, defending the world against villains, with a mix of live action and cartoon animation. Created to promote the show and added to the Hub's website was a flash game called The Aquabats Aqua Battle in 2012, which was an arcade-inspired beat-em-up featuring 3 distinct stages. Once the series was cancelled and the Hub network was taken over and turned into Discovery Family in October of 2014, the Hub website was shut down, rendering the flash game now lost as well. A partial version of the game was found and uploaded to Flashpoint, which contained one of the game's 3 levels. Not long after, a full playthrough of the game was uploaded to YouTube, and on August 29th, 2025, the remaining levels were uploaded to Flashpoint Archive, making the game finally fully playable and found. At Your Own Risk. Tyler, the creator, has been in the game for a while. Even before his debut studio album, Bastard, released in 2009, he went by the name of Ace the Creator, making and posting albums on MySpace. One of these was titled At Your Own Risk, released in 2008. Most of the tracks are simply instrumentals with fake features, such as Pharrell Williams, MF Doom, Jay-Z, etc., although a lot of the material from this album would later be repurposed for other songs or beats later down the line. From the known track list, all of the songs are fully found except for 1201, Sorry V1, and Speaker Box, which are only partially available. The Incredibles 2 Cast Apology Audio. One of the more famous Pixar films, for good reason, is 2004's family superhero movie, The Incredibles, which has since garnered almost universal critical and commercial acclaim following its release. No doubt a sequel wouldn't be far off, right? Well, it wouldn't be until 2018 that The Incredibles 2 would be finally finished and released theatrically, to immense box office success and strong approval ratings from critics. That all being said, it did take a long time for the film to be made, so interestingly enough, in some early theatrical screenings of the movie, an apology from the cast members was played before the film started. This would be left out of later screenings and home media releases, meaning it was now lost media, despite being something seen presumably by millions not that long ago. On July 7th, 2025, a YouTube user named Angie Dolls uploaded an audio-only version of the cast apology. Unfortunately, we still don't have the footage, but at least we have this.
Making an animated movie isn't easy. It takes a lot of hard work. Painstaking attention to detail. Everyone's ready?
Listen, we get it. We know it's been a little while.
Wonderful. 14 years. Give it a long time. We get it.
Everybody quiet, please.
But seriously, do you know how tough it is to make one of these?
People have to think up the story.
And then drawing. It may be painting to go back to the
And
story.
then throwing it in.
On paper, not even the computer yet. Okay?
We know it's been a long time. Thank you for being patient.
And now, without further ado, please enjoy.
Incredibles 2.
Trust us. It's only gonna be worth it.
Marty Workshop Reading. Marty 1955 is one of the more recognizable films of its era, receiving many awards and widespread critical acclaim, following the life of a man named Marty Paletti, a young butcher who meets a teacher named Clara at a ballroom and must choose between pursuing his love interest and the approval of his family. Before this film, however, there was a 51-minute teleplay created in 1953, which the movie would later be based on. It had a much later adaptation in the early 2000s in the form of a musical. It unfortunately never made it to Broadway and was sort of obscure, even though it had quite a star-studded cast for the time. It starred John C. Reilly as Marty and Anne Torsiglieri as Clara. For a while, information about the musical was hard to come by, and only a few production images were available online. However, it was learned this year that a tape recording on VHS did exist in the hands of New York Public Library's Theater on Film and Tape Archive, though this recording has not been made publicly available. On August 25th, 2025 though, a person named Rami Robinson found an audio recording of a workshop reading dated August 1st, 2000, and uploaded it to the Internet Archive, as well as a full audio recording of the musical, which was recorded on November 3rd, 2002. Video footage of any of these performances still remains elusive today. Bones Skeleton Crew Lost Episodes. This is another piece of partially found media, in fact actually only 3 short episodes, but I still thought it was worth mentioning if I'm trying to showcase as many pieces of lost media that were found this year as I can. Anyways, Bones is a very popular police drama series focusing on forensics, which premiered in 2005 and ran for a staggering 246 episodes over 12 seasons until March of 2017. As with any successful television series these days, there were of course plans for spin-offs, one of them being another police procedural which ran for one season called The Finder. The other was called Bones Skeleton Crew and was a 26-episode web series focusing on 3 new characters trying to solve a mystery behind an incomplete animal skeleton and a threatening message in the basement of a DC Museum forensics lab. It first aired on October 6, 2006 as part of an obscure and now non-existent subscription service called Sprint TV, although the episodes were later released on the Bones website before they too were later taken down. Short plot synopses and titles exist for each episode of the series, but only 3 of the episodes have ever been found and archived, which were located this year, those being Episode 13, Dinner Time, Episode 15, Skullduggery, and Episode 16, The Meat Locker. Get in your box PSA. This now solved mystery comes from r/tip of my tongue, where a user going by Ral315 inquires about a strange internet PSA from the early 2000s about gambling. What's really crazy to me is how old this post is, being made 12 years ago and just now being found this year. The user described the video as such, quote, "This was a public service announcement about internet gambling. It might have aired across multiple states. I know that in Michigan, it was sponsored by the Michigan Department of Community Health. I've scoured the internet and found many people asking about this PSA, but no video. It aired in the late 90s or early 2000s and had a family who was homeless because their son had gambled tens of thousands online. They're sitting in what looks a lot like a dump, with cardboard boxes strewn about everywhere. Rough transcript. We lost our home, our car, our savings, all because our son gambled on the internet. I told you I was sorry. Go to your box." The video was a running joke among my family and I'd love to see it again if anyone can find the video. I'll give 3 months Reddit gold for it. Of course, there were theories and people who commented saying that they remember seeing the same commercial as kids as well, but as early as 3 years ago, the OP commented that they still hadn't found it yet, saying they even emailed the Michigan Department of Community Health and the Michigan Association of Broadcasters to no response. However, on April 5th, 2025, a YouTube user named King of Memes found the PSA in an old YouTube upload of a 2001 NFL game and uploaded it to YouTube, with Ral315 editing his original post and confirming this was the PSA in question.
I lost my home, my wife, my kids to drugs.
We lost our home, our kids' college fund, our retirement money, all because our son gambled on the internet.
I said I was sorry.
Go to your box.
Internet gambling. It's a scam. If you play, you pay.
Mexia supermarket footage. One of the biggest finds this year happens to be a piece of lost media that I didn't think would become as popular as it did, but here we are. It's definitely the morbid curiosity kicking in. I'll admit, even I was pretty curious, despite this being one of the most disgusting things I've ever heard about. So, quick warning if you're eating anything right now. A lot of you have probably heard about this already though, due to how simply infamous it is. Essentially, a grocery store in Fort Worth, Texas, called Mexia Supermarket, was shut down after its owners declared bankruptcy in 1999. Nothing too unusual there. Businesses fail, these things happen. What doesn't happen often is the owners, banks, and whoever at the time owned the property turning off the electricity and then leaving the store without first cleaning it out. This was said to have occurred because of a miscommunication between the owners of the store and the creditors who were taking it back. Either way, someone messed up, and the electricity was cut off and the store abandoned, leaving the produce and meat to spoil and rot inside the store, creating an unimaginable smell which attracted, of course, every manner of possible vermin to the establishment. The building became overrun with all types of insects and rodents. They began consuming all of the leftover product and spoiled inventory, which in turn allowed more of them to reproduce. And yeah, this whole thing was just a recipe for disaster, causing a complete biohazardous environment. People began smelling something was off all the way down the street and complained of the stench, leading to an investigation, which would have the Fort Worth Health Department declaring the store a health hazard. Investigators and cleanup crew who entered the store had to wear air filtration masks to even breathe. There were reportedly rats and roaches all over the store, and so many flies that they could barely see in front of them. With this being such a gross and strange event in the city of Fort Worth, many news channels were able to gather footage, mostly though from outside the store. Most of the recordings found of inside the actual building come from an episode of the show Life After People. This year though, a TikTok user by the name of Juice would upload a few videos about the Mexia supermarket, which included footage taken by their parents of them driving past the store in November of 1999, as well as some news footage of a separate disturbing incident which took place in the store in 1994, in which a man was murdered, which still remains unsolved today. After this, there was even more renewed interest in the case, and a few more images and small pieces of footage were located, but on July 18th, 2025, a user named Biscuit uploaded a compilation video of two separate news station recordings of the store, KXAS and CONUS, featuring over 10 minutes of inside and outside the store taken in 1999. The Mitch Hedberg Project Pilot. The Mitch Hedberg Project was a show pitched to MTV in 2001 that would follow the stand-up comedian in question, along with his friends, as they did a 7-day tour around California and interviewed people on the street, did other stand-up comedy gigs, and even pranks. A pitch pilot was created which was partially available on YouTube, dated July 17th, 2001, despite the project never getting picked up by MTV. The only footage that could be found from the 27-minute pilot was featured in a documentary named after one of the other comedians on tour with Hedberg, nicknamed Possum Man. Another one of Hedberg's friends and fellow comic, Doug Stanhope, uploaded a rough-cut VHS copy to YouTube on June 1st, 2025, where it can still be viewed today. Nick News with Linda Ellerby, Muhammad Ali. Nick News was an educational news program airing from 1992 to 2015 on Nickelodeon in an attempt to make the format of a news broadcast discussing social, economic, and political issues more easily digestible for younger audiences. The show was hosted by NBC newscaster Linda Ellerby during its original run, but it was brought back pretty recently on social media, having both TikTok and Instagram pages. The original show was quite popular in schools, which is why it went on for so long, despite relatively poor ratings. Over 178 episodes were created from 1992 to 2015, and due to the show's relative scarcity following its cancellation, as well as the fact that only one home media release was ever created, many of the episodes today are lost. Some have been found and are available on YouTube in their entirety, while some only have partial clips and others are completely lost. One of the episodes found this year was Nick News Presents the Life Story of Muhammad Ali, detailing the life of the famous boxer and cultural icon. They even had interviews with other celebrities influenced in one way or another by the life of the heavyweight champion, including comedian Chris Brown and basketball legend Michael Jordan. The full 26-minute episode was uploaded to archive.org on August 24th of this year, where it remains watchable today. The Cure for Insomnia footage. The Cure for Insomnia is a piece of lost media I feel like I've already extensively talked about on this channel on at least more than one occasion, so I'll keep this one kinda short, as the entire 87-hour-long film didn't end up getting found, sadly, just some small footage from it. Still definitely a cool find though. But yes, basically this experimental movie was one of the longest ever produced, sitting at an astounding 87-hour mark, created by John Henry Timmis IV back in 1987. The movie simply consisted of actor L.D. Grobin reading a poem also titled The Cure for Insomnia, which itself was over 4,000 pages long. On March 1st of 2025, a company called Bleeding Skull released a collection of Timmis's filmography as a Blu-ray titled Cannibal Orgy, which contained a minute and 25-second snippet from the film. Admittedly, not much is shown other than a copyright notice, as well as some title cards, and a seemingly random explosion. Horrid Henry pitch pilot. Based on a children's book series of the same name, created by Francesca Simon, this British animated children's series ran from October 2006 to May of 2019, for a total of 5 seasons and 250 episodes, following the life of the eponymous Henry, playing pranks and getting up to hijinks with his friends, in direct opposition to his younger opposite brother Peter. The series became popular not just in the UK, but even internationally as well, being broadcast in over 90 countries throughout the world, in various other languages. Also, like many cartoons of the era, the show was pitched with a pilot episode that was not shown to audiences outside of the executives that greenlit the project. It wouldn't be until August of 2025 that this episode would end up surfacing online. This short 1 minute and 20-second episode was known as Horrid Henry, utterly wicked, totally brilliant, and was uploaded to YouTube by user The Shampoo is Broken. Bananas in Pajamas, Odd Socks. Bananas in Pajamas was an Australian children's TV series which ran from July 1992 to December of 2001 for 6 seasons and 304 episodes. Inspired by the success of the 1967 song of the same name, the series follows 2 anthropomorphic banana characters called B1 and B2 and showcases their many adventures with their rat and teddy bear friends. Most of the episodes of the show were readily available, except for 2, episode 162 Self-Serve and 198 Odd Socks, both airing in season 4 back in 1996. That all changed this year, however, when a YouTube channel named Johnson and Naughty uploaded the entire Odd Socks episode to YouTube on April 13th. That leaves only episode 162 Self-Serve as the last missing episode of the show.